Mini wheel? Alright. I feel like we have a couple things we can do. Do we want a wedge? I kind of want to get a little bit more out of these vessels here. So, let's think. All this plaster that's getting in this. I must have mixed plaster here one time, but I'm not sure. It's like a little frustrating though. What I wanted to do today was I wanted to actually throw. I'm gonna make 3 water whistles, the forms of them at least. And so it's just gonna be a shorter string. But I did want to get that done. A little bit more ahead, huh? We'll let that just kind of soak. We're just doing this so then that all that will dissolve and we can kind of like push it out of the way. So hopefully in the future we stop getting all this plaster in our clay here as we're trying to throw. But yeah, I like that, guys. Desk. Got our chunks here. These are our buddies, our friends of the day here. We're also going to get some water. Look at these. You see how I'm allowing it to twist? I'm keeping my hand straight, so I actually can get all around the little pegs by just going around with them. So you can see the peg that I'm holding. Hold on, I'll bring it back over. Alright, and so if you're ever thinking about how you clean those pegs off, there you go. some little chunks of clay right in this. Here. Okay. Then after this, probably going to start, which will be exciting. Yeah, what is all in here? We do want to get rid of this. We want to get a new batch of water. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but right now my water intake is my biggest problem for my pottery stuff here. So we do want to kind of do a better job with that these days. The Harbinger is here. Ooh, spooky. Zoom. So you can see where the clay has its most wants to rip. Here on this top, and here right there in this middle part, right? And so we're just going to keep on working with it until all that kind of smooths out a little bit. Let's bring that down, bring that up. And you can bring that back down. Get some more water in there, bring it back up. Alright? It's always trying to figure out how you're using your hand as a sort of like a... Look at how my hand can sit that right on center, right? It's all about how I'm using this back of my palm. Anyway. Kind of nice. I'm just going down the middle. I'm just pulling this out to the side. And I'm using my fingertip as a little hook, right? As a cutting tool to open up the clay towards this bottom here. Okay, we also want to start smoothing out this base. Let's see what we've got here. You can see how it's not really even the bat. If I put my hand on the bat, it's not sitting flat. So my bats are kind of getting warped over the years now, so that's a little sad. But again, my hand's going to go right up underneath. Something that you want to do, too, is do you see that little step there? I want to get rid of that before I start. That's going to help me out later on. Right up underneath. Slowly walk this up. And I'm done. Right underneath. Push in and slowly lift up. Again, slowly moving clay and getting those walls even is our top priority. We don't really want to get it the height right now. We really want to just get it even. So again, I'm going right down to this bottom corner. I went too thin, so this one's actually not going to work well. So we'll just cut it right now. You guys will even get to see why, right? Do you see how it's a little bit thin? Like right in this area? If I were to continue this pull, there's just too much weight on the top. So I try to pull too much in one go. And so that's the problem with this one. But that's okay. That's why we have more. And so I'm not even... I feel like you get to a point where you'll just know when you're trying to like force the clay to be its thing. When that piece obviously didn't even want to be my friend, so I'm not even going to work on it anymore. You start fresh, start anew, and then you just keep on cruising, right? in, I can feel there's like a little air pocket here. Push this right down. Thumbs in. I can feel that little air pocket. Try to pop that little bubble there. And again, we're smoothing out our base. Getting ready, rounding off that top. And here we are, slowly pinching llama pole right up. A little bit more. Okay, so we got that in far enough. Now we got to start bring this up, over, and again we have a little bubble right on this outside. Go right down to the bottom. Slowly walk the exterior chunk of clay here to the middle. And then slowly walk these two hands up together. A little wobble, it's getting thin, but we're still just going to finish the pole. And we'll go back in with our wooden rib tool. And even out the bottom here. So, again, I'm going a little bit too thin toward this bottom edge, but I think I have enough thickness here that I can work with it, right? Again, you guys could kind of see how it was getting wobbly on me there. But I didn't stop, I just finished that pole quick, right? So I'm always going to finish that pole before anything else, right? Secrets? I don't know, not really. There wasn't really any secrets. The secret is the what is it called? It's not the chat, it's the chat GPT description. That's the secret. I asked it to write a story about clay secrets and it gave me that. I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, you can see that bottom trying to get out here, so we're actually going to open that up just a little bit more. Color that up. Start right over that shoulder, walk that in. And allow there to be a little bump to form. And slowly walk that up. this top rim here. A little pull in from here just a little bit. A needle right on the side here. Okay. So this is going to be the first part of one of the water whistles. We gotta make the second part. Camera A. You can see that they're a little bit warped towards the edges, right? That's okay. Desk. Close in. Sealing the bottom edge. Getting ready to just push this over with that one hand as that right hand scoops that clay up and brings it to the top, right? Going right back down to the bottom. Scoop up that clay. Slowly walk that right up to the top. One hand, tilt this over, right? Walk this down. You should be able to use the back part of your hand here and kind of lock this right in. Watch, right in, right? And then with some pressure pushing down, you'll be able to get that right on center for yourself. Down, and then using my other hand as a brace to slowly walk that towards me, and there we go. Again. I'm going to start opening this up. Get some water on the inside. taking my finger and slowly walking that out towards this edge, smoothing out that base. Somebody asked me to make Pikachu. Sorry, I can't make Pikachu today. Zoom. First, run this down. Get ready. Normal pull, pick that up. Slowly walk that up to a volcano. Slowly come right down to the bottom edge here. Camera B. Saying hello to that bottom edge, slowly tucking that in. And we're not trying to create a large bump on this first one, we're just trying to get the walls somewhat even, right? And so that means we're slowly just walking them up, keeping that distance. We have a little thin spot here, you can see where that wants to probably cut off later, so let's try to bring this top edge down just a little bit so you can see how I'm rounding my thumb over this edge. I just want to try to bring some of that clay back down into that spot. Then I can bring this back up, then that back out. And we'll see if we feel it. It might come back. We'll see later on. A little water on that interior. Get right down to this bottom edge. Again, we're not really trying to find the bump. We're trying to cut off some of that inconsistent clay on the bottom, right? So trying to cut through to form an even bottom, so then our next pull is going to hopefully not throw off the top that much, right? Again, right down to the inside here. Walk that back up. Zoom. Line this out over top the fingers. Remember, one of the fingers is just leading the other finger right underneath it. You can see the little bump all the way up to the top of the vessel. You can see it's starting to buckle a little bit towards the bottom, but we're not freaking out about it, right? Again, we're going to start trying to just tame that interior. Then we want to put our hand back into the bottom one more time before we even the rest of this out, right? And so you'll see how the top kind of gets off-center as I'm doing this. But again, I have one more pull, so I'm not worried about what that top is looking like. I know it's going to be even because I just pulled it even, right? I'm worried about how that bottom is sitting. Is that bottom sitting with not a lot of wobble? Is my starting point even? That's what I'm more worried about. Okay. Again, bottom's pretty in, so I'm going to start taking this in. Walk this corner in from here one time though. Space. Camera B. Camera B. I'll open this up just a little bit more. And we're going to make the foot of the object. So these water whistles, these top parts, become the bottoms, the feet of the vessel. So now you have a sealed vessel. So when you go to make the whistle, you don't have to worry leaking out. So you can see how I'm just making the bottom of the foot here, right? So throwing the feet right now. This will make it a lot easier for us later on to deal with. And now we're going to make our lines. Now we're going to get ready to end this one. Foot with the rib so sweet. Yeah, so I feel like it's kind of nice because now I'm just gonna kind of, hold on, close in, so you guys can see what I'm gonna do on this bottom part here, right? So watch as why do I have one side that's kind of screwing with me? Whatever, we'll kind of connect it probably with that side. But we just pop up this foot just a tad. And so it looks like we kind of took some attention on this bottom part. And then this is when it flips over, that's the top, right? So, zoom. So there you go. So you can imagine what it's going to look like upside down. So, awesome. Set that down. How's this looking here? We still probably need to set this somewhere else. Yeah, it does mean that we do have to get another chunk of clay here. Unless we want to make a small one and split the last one in half, which we may do. Not sure yet. Camera A. Okie dokie. Bring this off. Getting some of those on there. So hopefully this will help it sit a little bit more flat because we've been having that problem, right? I kind of miss how gunky my old wheel was because there was so much clay on the wheel head all the time that it would kind of just suction flat every time. In, scoop, zoom, again one more time, push in with the one hand, you see a little bump forming, scoop that bump up, and just walk that up slowly, right? And we're going to see some weird spots. The top is a little bit weird, you can see that there's more of those lines there, right, those spiraling lines up. This feels like it wants to tear, or there might be air bubbles in here, right? And again, look at the bottom. So this is looking like a tear line, and perhaps a bubble, but more of a tear. You can kind of see the clay really getting torqued, right? And so the clay is getting ripped rather than stretched, right? Get it pretty close to center with just that one hand. Slowly again, scooping up from that little bump. Walk that up. Right? Imagine, you know, like what do you do before practice, right? Say you're getting ready for lacrosse practice. You got back from school, you had your glass of milk and your Scooby-Doo fruit snacks. You're getting ready to go to practice. You're there, you put on all your gear, and what does your coach tell you to do? Give me a lap, guys. Give me a lap. You're warming up, right? Right now we are giving the coach the lap. So we're all limber practice, right? So you can see this little notch here, right? That's where my pinky's at, right? Look at how that pinky's scooping that up so that it pushes that up into here, right? So make sure you guys are using the pinky. I think sometimes people like to use all their other fingers but then not use their pinky. Where I think I mostly use my pinky and not my other fingers as much. Thumb down. Some water. My finger cut across this base. Always when I'm moving clay, I'm trying to cut that clay. That's what's really going to help me out here, right? Making sure we're not going too thin. Feeling the clay all the way to that corner, making sure we don't fold this over when we round this off. There we go. Ready? Walking this up. Feeling, we got an air bubble up here somewhere, I can feel it. We'll work with the clay that we got, right? Right there on this edge, there's these two little bubbles, let's see. That over. Roll that edge, bring this up. This bottom edge. Sorry. So I'm trying to cut that base with these, so you can see those lines, right? Can you see how I'm trying to cut the thickness into place? So again, we're going right down to that bottom. So hopefully we can get that base even though it wasn't centered. We can get some nice pulls out of this. Get down. And the tension of that base is a little bit more closer together. You can see how it's actually pretty much in line now. That's great. Okay. You can see that weird little business happen on this top edge there. But we'll cut that off later. What's for supper tonight? Tonight I will be eating probably some rice, some mushrooms, and maybe some sort of citrus and asparagus. That will be my dinner. Something like that. So I can really feel these bubbles. I hope you guys can see those bubbles really messing with us on this top edge here. Again, we're not gonna be freaked out by some dumb bubbles, you know. Here, I gotta get the rest of that water out of that interior. So you see how I'm not scared to open that up? Slowly, just enter that clay. And it's not gonna get too screwed up, and you'll be able to put it right back in its place when you're done, right? Anyway, let's get this little knife tool down. Some water in between here. Get our little ribbon here. Set our ribbon off to the side. Wood. Here I am. So it's post trim, smoothing that base out, taking it from the base, going up. Okay. Starting at the shoulder. We're really feeling that top edge, so we'll cut that. We'll do one pull here. I'll start to think about cutting that top edge. So you can see that all the little bubbly stuff is right on that top edge. All the way through. Got a little smile with your fish, guys. Cheese. Nice. Okay. Make sure we got that all out. Oh, great. This is feeling good. Okay. Nice. Do you have to teach on Sunday? No, I teach on Saturday though, like this morning. So this morning was kind of cool. I had that class where I teach like a chessboard making class. It's always pretty fun being there. And then I gotta get some closer progress on my chessboard too. My right now, my chicken pawns are all done. My dog knights, they're done. My silo and barn rook is done. That's thin enough now to do one collar and finish. Mess around with this top. And my bishops are corn. How funny is that? Oh, come on. Kind of screwed it up at that base there. A lot of that liquid clay right off to this edge, and you'll see it build up there, right? We're just going to leave that alone, right? We're going to let that exist as its own little entity here. And we're going to give a little line on that bottom edge. We'll probably do a line right up here. And right up here on the top. And I shouldn't do it, shouldn't I? Oh, I hate this. Right there. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. And so then we have this like kind of weird looking blobular thing with all this kind of niceness. And so I'm hoping that some of these little like thick parts and these little blob become a place for glaze to kind of sit. So it almost looks like the surface of the pot was starting to melt, right? underneath. Nice shot, guys. This one looks really nice, I think. Yeah, guys. And let's look at this thing. Top rim, I could have done a little bit better. I should at least round it off, but I'm leaving it alone. Am I? Dang it, I'm not. I hate when that happens, dude. It's like the clay, it just yells at you and it says, nah, bro, like, you're not done yet. You know? I feel like what always happens whenever I'm throwing is I hate this sort of part where you have to like dress the object up a little bit. That's the part that I just like the moving of the material. So I always feel like I try to rush through some of this when I already took it this far and it took long enough that, you know what, like now I gotta like actually finish the object. That's perfect. That was nerve-wracking for a second. Now we're done. Okay. Sweet. Alrighty. You know what we might do? Instead of doing, we'll do the end, the other side of this one. And then with the rest of the clay, let's make like the whistles and all the stuff. Let's throw all that off the hump. I think that would be kind of cool to have it all like a totally thrown thing going on here, right? So I gotta get me some new... Do you see how uneven this thing... My bats are all... My bats. Why are they so warped? I don't think they're sitting totally flat, too. Like, I think there's some built-up clay underneath. Don't worry. Slowly as the clay builds up, it's like, you know when you season, like you season a steak with something, you know? It's like seasoning your vessel, right? Or maybe it's like marinating or doing like a pickle of something. And that way, you know, you let it sort of just soak in the clay juices, and it makes processes a little bit easier. Like sticking something on is always going to be easier when there's like a bunch of sticky wet clay there. So right now we're just seasoning the wheel. All right. We need to pick a new thing. How about we listen to whatever this is? You guys see how much the sound changes the environment and atmosphere? Like, I think before, like, it was so, like, deep, right? And then all of a sudden you get this on there, and then now feel how, like, uplifting. Even the, like, the colors on the wheel probably feel, like, a little bit brighter, right? At least to me, when I see that stuff, or, like, when I feel music, yeah, like light. But I think that's what I like about music, is I like music that puts me in those zones. Okay. was my meditation type sound before? Yeah, it had like a meditation sound to it. Just slowly walking this down. This feels like the outro to like a movie, you know? It's like two dudes like saying like, you know, we've been at this a long time, Joe. Yeah, you know what, Rick? You're right. You have been at this for a long time. You know what, Joe? I think it's time we hang up the coats. Are you kidding me? Come on, why? We're too old for this. You know, it has like, that's my little narration of the story. Hey, Joe, let's go fishing, man. All right. You like go to, and like fishing is code for something. Like fishing is code for like, they take all their like stolen money, maybe they're like bank robber guys, you know, they take all the rest of the stolen money and then they put it in a safe and they're like ready to go fishing, and then they throw the safe over the bridge, and then like that's their way of like hiding like the treasure, and then they like set up a new scene for like a new movie at the very end, and the end credits like it's like 100 years from then, right? And then like some dude like opens up the safe and there's just like a ton of money in there, right? And like the whole story starts again. That's what the music feels like. Again, down, warmed up the clay, warmed up our minds. Now let's start cruising, guys. Slowly walking this out, feeling that middle part there. How thin are we? I think we're okay. I think we can start bringing this up here. Right up underneath, grab that clay. And you see how I'm just slowly going to be walking that up to the top here. Good. Okay. Make sure you open this up just a little bit. And then go back down to the bottom of the clay. And again, we're trying to get the thickness kind of cut in place, right? So we're putting a lot of tension on that clay. Pulling this in here. Going right back underneath. Taking a breath and going down to the bottom. And you know what, we're going to take our finger and we're going to push our finger down. You see our finger goes down first? Sorry about that, guys. And so we got the thinness kind of locked in here. And we cut off a lot of that bottom part that was uneven. We cut that off, so now we're kind of in a good spot here. Okay. Ribbon. Actually, I need to bring this in there one more time, and then we can actually start bringing this up the rest of the way. underneath this edge here to find that shoulder, right? Oh, find it a little bit too much. Hold on. We're just trying to listen to what the clay's telling us to do right now, right, guys? Because it wants to buckle on us a little bit, but we can literally see where it's wanting to buckle on us. We can slow down the wheel, we can change our speed, and we just want to make sure we can get it as even as possible, right? If that top gets off, that's fine, because what's underneath is still good, right? You can always cut off that top. Knife tool here right on top. Slowly cutting this right off that edge. Get some of that weird thickness out of there. But I think we might be good. Actually, we could have gone a little bit lower. That's okay. Doing one little mini pull here. Oh, but look what happened, guys. It's actually not gonna work. I have some weird pockets. I don't know if we can make this survive. It already started water fissuring. You guys could see that, I think. I let water sit on that edge for way too long. We'll see. Maybe it's gonna be okay. Those cracks might definitely come back, though. This ain't quite a bit. I don't really like this one, to be honest, guys. This one kind of gets like, this is definitely a F tier. That's okay. We were gonna make the small parts out of that last bit, but I'm thinking we need to make another base. So I don't really like that one too much. I love how you talk your way through showing how you problem solve. Well, I feel like sometimes I get too locked in, so let me know if I need to like, it would actually help if you guys like tell me if I'm like not talking for a longer time or like you want me to talk more. Because right now I'm thinking like, oh, nobody says anything, it must be like good enough, you know? But I'm game for talking more. Slowly getting that water off the edge here. Something's wrong. I don't know what's... Something's having a hard time. I don't know why I was trying to do that. Yeah, our first couple ones, I think were good. The first 3 that we threw, those were good. That last one, if you roll back, you'll see how much water I let just sit on that shoulder for like way too long. So that was my own fault. Camera A. Zoom. Up. Again, we want to stretch this clay out a little bit. You can see how this one's a little bit more difficult to get up there, right? But I'm just slowing down. And I just want to make sure I don't go too thin. But that bottom part, we have a couple of ripping areas, right? So we just want to make sure we go over those. And we don't want to tilt this over too much or we're really going to tear. So we want to not stress out the clay as much as we can. And then make sure we don't fold the clay and push in with the back of our palm to make sure we don't get weird little buildups so we can prevent those little onion rings from forming on the top, right? Again, down and up. Get some of that clay out that bottom. Scoop. Right up to the top. Nice job, guys. Okay. Down, smooth that, cut that up. Watch this, little bump form. Pick that up, right? Just taking that right up to the top, slowing down, and releasing slowly. Okay. Using the little fatty part of our hand here, right on top, right? But look what's right in between. That's right, my thumb. Hello, guys. That's my thumb. Slowly taking that back part of my hand down, making sure I'm pushing forward with my palm. And look how that just creates this nice little pinch. You can get that pretty much right on center there, guys. So we're walking this back to your palm. That should be good enough. Open. Close in. I'm going to go right out and cut through the side of the vessel. Right? Open that up, peeling it like a potato. Ah, potato would sound really nice right now. I feel like I haven't been eating a lot of sweet potatoes, but I have been liking some russets, you know? Some classic potato. Sweet potatoes I stopped eating them because I got into eating squash. Squash is based, you know. You've never had squash before? Squash is probably like the best. I don't even know if it's a vegetable, but if it's a vegetable, the best vegetable, hands down. Not even close. There we go, guys. Again, right down to the bottom. Look at how that back finger just says, hey, you tuck that straight into the vessel. Take the finger on the outside, right up above it. We're keeping them right up. Okay, we just walk that bump right up to the top. Nice job, guys. Okay, right down. Close in. You grew up on potatoes and butternut squash. I actually haven't tried butternut squash. I'm too scared to try butternut squash. I like the acorn squash and dumpling squash. And this one squash that kind of looks like a gourd. I don't know what it's called, but it's green and yellow. But I think a lot of squash are green and yellow. I haven't tried butternut squash yet. You can tell it's super thin right below. You guys can see. No. Why did I go too thin? Alright. Is this one salvageable, guys? Let's see. I don't know if we should keep it though, if it's that thin. Regardless. Stop, chill out. Okay. Butternut is amazing, so versatile. He made it a soup and tomato-less pasta sauce with it. Wow. Spaghetti squash, maybe. Butternut is the bomb. Alright, I'll have to try that out then. I keep wanting to say buttermilk squash. I'm just locking that shoulder there, and so hopefully I can just smooth out the base. And then we're cruising. I do want to just cut this off though. Also, we can remove this so you guys can see exactly what the heck the problem I got here is. And how we're going to deal with it, right? Too thin in that bottom section, right? Just like right in here, it's too thin, you know? And we don't like that. That's causing a lot of issues for us right now. So we're going to try our best to remove as much material on this bottom section and then smooth it out one last time. I wish I could like bring this out more. I know this might screw up the base just a tad, but I'm actually going to do like a normal, traditional little... Oh wait, no we're not. No, we're not keeping that. You guys knew what I wanted to do. Water got underneath of it, so that idea went kaput. Whatever. Back type priority number 1. We got distracted. That's why that happened. Who's the clay telling us, bro? What are you focusing on? Not me? Come on. as close as we're gonna get it. And we're not even done with closing it, so we're probably gonna have to do something else. What the heck? Why is the shoulder of this not wanting to work properly? There we go. That was really weird though. So you guys saw what happened. There was like an awkward thickness right on that shoulder. So I had to like re-establish a new shoulder. Oh, it's throwing everything off now again. I probably should have kept it. This is too thin, come on. Just way too thin to be doing any of this right now. And I need to close this? I mean, come on. This is just not gonna work out for me, is it? We're gonna have to kill this one, guys. Got too thin on this top. Whatever. You guys will at least get to see it. Okay, so you can see that we were going way too thin. But we had a really good thinness throughout the whole vessel. We just went way too thin in this middle part here. So then the shoulder had no weight. So we actually screwed ourselves when we got rid of that weight. But still pretty good. Like we didn't have a lot to trim off on this bottom, right? But this means that we have to go again. It's a sad part, guys. We did not get what we wanted, so we gotta go again. I'm gonna wedge, so you're gonna just hear me wedging noises. And when I'm getting rid of some of this clay right now, all I'm trying to do is just smear it as flat as I can. And maybe I'll come back in a second and I'll give that another look over. Okay. Let's get another little chunk of clay. And we're not even gonna we just want to kind of finish this. So we are gonna just open this up here. We're not messing around now, guys. Just middle down. Yeah, you know, why not? Let's do something weird. Get some more clay. Alright. Key things about this throw. We can't go too thin. That's been the death of our last ones. We gotta bring it more narrow. We're gonna bring it more narrow before we try to thin. At least the top. And we gotta establish a good shoulder. That's what happened to the last two, is the bad shoulders. Okay. Thumbs down. Get ready. Get some water in there. Use your finger to open up that clay. Smooth out the base. Getting right around on this corner, pulling this up. Grabbing another little piece of clay right on the bottom. Get ready to project your hand in and over a little bit, right? We're looking for a pinch, but also kind of a lead up so you can start bringing that top in so it doesn't flare out, right? Get some of that water out of that interior. Saying, get out of here, we don't want you. And you're never going back in. Alright. Right down to the bottom. Pushing right up underneath. And then really trying to follow that bump up to the top here. Slowing down. Collar. Round out that top edge. Sit there for a second, okay. The last one, it was a flop. We went too thin on the shoulder. Okay. I feel a lot better about what we got for this top. I'm going to smooth out that base. First we'll cut this down. Hand in, right around. Kind of screwed up towards the top, actually. Cylinder is created. Oh, we bumped out that metal. That's okay. There we go. Get ready. That top in. One more time. We're gonna smooth out that metal. We bumped out. It's that same song from earlier. Again, this is like a song to play at my funeral or something. No, we went too thin again. Are you kidding me? Come on, bro. Alright, we just need to close the dang thing. Okay, come on. Key with these is that we do have to make them, we have to try to make them thin, right? Because if you make them too thick, we can't really trim these once we get those whistles on, so it's like, I want to make sure I get it as thin as I can so I can bring up much weight, because if somebody goes to pick this up and it's full of water and it feels like they can't pick it up, then nobody's going to want to even try to tilt it over, right? Nice, 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 nice. All right. Ready for the foot. Number B. Maybe we do want to start here. You can see we kind of have this like little closed foot here. Nice. Oh, we just went around this off the... Oh, we got a little bit of crud underneath it, didn't we? Oh, that's okay. Here we go. Grabbing our... There we go. Zoom. Nice. Sweet. And so some of the subtleties of this I kind of like, right? So we have, first we have that rounded in vessel, but it doesn't feel like it's a foot. But if you look, it does have like a little foot ring there, right? So a foot ring, then we're slowly smoothing that out right to this edge, where the edge is a dry. I lifted it off dry, I didn't smooth that over. Then we have this little thing, 2 rings. I wish I would have brought this bottom ring up just a little bit more to make this middle ring a little bit more visible. It feels like it's unbalanced to me, or almost looks like a yo-yo is sitting on top of it. Anyway, then I'm slowly doing that same exact thing that I did here with this edge there, right? So then I have like these little textures of a dry edge there, right? And then right below that, I have the double little tags, right? The 2 lines, And then I think those lines kind of make the body, do you see how the body is actually not totally flat? But they make it feel a little bit more geometric, right? So we got this one all cruising for us. Yeah, sweet. Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Camera A. So we got a couple of them. I guess I can just show them all. So we got this one here. And we're kind of liking this quite a bit. I think we like this one. This one's doing some good things for us. Zoom. Get this out of here. So we like this one. First thing, this is one that you plug with your thumb. So this is a main vessel. Okay. And we have a bottom for the main vessels right here. So you can see there's a bottom on this one. And so that's a thrown foot. So there we go. We got this one. So that's going to go with it. This is giving me like lava lamp vibes. I don't know if you guys get that same thing. But I'm feeling lava lamp when I look at this. Then I'm going to go over here. This was, I think, my favorite one of the day. I think this one is pretty cool. We got this one here. I think there's something really nice happening. Again, it's an open. You guys aren't going to be able to see it, but it's an open vessel. So this is a main vessel, right? And then we had that one crappy one. We'll keep it for now. We'll keep it for now. We'll probably turn it into something that's not a water whistle, but that's this one. It started tilting over and it collapsed in. But part of me is thinking it could be a really interesting horn being set on its side or something. But then this is the other bottom for that other vessel. Really liking the way that looked. A good way to finish, I think. And I think it complements the raw edge on that last one that we just looked at before the dip down one. But anyway, guys, thanks again. I'll show you guys a cool little thing I've been working on recently. Turned off. Because I'm always doing these dance things. But I don't think everybody gets to see them. And I think they're kind of cool. So I'll end off with that. Pause. Go to the overlay. Properties. Browse. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I like this one quite a bit. Okay. 16 anos de idade, é só pica na xereca dela. 17 anos de idade, é só pica na xereca dela.